It's the SKOR North Twin Show.
Yeah, we know we have a great lineup. I think it was nice for a lot of us to get some rest and come back re-energized and focused. And I think it kind of just showed this series. And hopefully we can keep putting one day after another and putting a good stretch together.
4 RBI yesterday for
big night,
and the first ever bases clearing extra base hit with the bases loaded in Twins history yesterday. Not sure if you guys knew that.
It's never happened before?
No, that was the first time that's ever happened. So congrats to Kirilloff. This is the SKOR North Twin Show, where we just want the Twins to win a damn playoff game. One playoff game before we die. 0-18. Let's get that to come to an end. I think Declan and I are rooting for that to come to an end this year, and Judd is just like seething and wants them to sell off.
No, I mean, if they are so fortunate to match up with the A's or Royals in the playoffs, I'm confident that they will end the losing streak.
Well,
I think it's going to come to an end.
You know, if the A's go, I think it's 67-0 the rest of the season, they can get to 92 wins. And
there you go.
Maybe flirt with that division. So.
Yep.
I say also I saw Ross Brendel kind of cheekingly say this on Twitter too. Maybe we do a magic number count each day on the SKOR North Twin Show. A magic number count?
Yeah. Let's
do
it. Hey, they're back up 2.5.
Yeah.
There's got to be a website, right?
There is. It's like your wins divided, like minus your games played with the other thing. I forget what it is.
Carry the 4.
Oh, carry
as
the
much
3.
This could get
as
very
we can
dangerous.
Yeah.
This could get incredibly dangerous, really dicey quick.
So the State of the Twins Monday edition of the SKOR North Twin Show is presented by our friends over at Modest Brewing Company. Old Macadac, Matt. So the local liquor store that I stop into now carries like 7 different variations of Modest beers. It's amazing. Nice. My favorite summer sipper is just the Supra Deluxe Premium Lager. Just super easy. You can stop into the tap room in the North Loop, just steps away from Target Field and the light rail. So Modest opened in 2016, so it's not even that old, and they're just crushing it the last few years. It's become one of the best craft breweries you're going to find. So again, steps away from Target Field, modestbrewing.com. We appreciate them jumping on board here on SKOR North and the SKOR North Twin Show. So the State of the Twins every Monday, and we'll do an Immaculate Grid. Some people are just like really bored with that. Other people love it. So we're going to keep doing it because it's polarizing.
Yeah, I got a note that's saying someone was yelling at his TV screen that like Kirby Puckett for the 300 and World Series winner, and we did it. We got Kirby on there.
Yeah, Bob Feller.
Bob.
Yeah, don't yell that.
Bobby Kilty.
Yes. So here's how we do the State of the Twins. We do an overall snapshot and then a handful of categories or questions that we'll dive into here. So let's start with the overall snapshot. 3-0 out of the break. They took care of business like they should against a really bad Oakland A's team. By the way, that was the first Twins sweep in Oakland since, did you guys see this?
97.
97? It's been 26 years since they swept the A's in Oakland. And the A's have had a lot of good teams since then, but there's been some dark seasons for the A's in the last 26 years.
And the 97 Twins were, as I recall, could hit but couldn't pitch.
Yep, I think that's accurate. It might have been Chuck Knobloch's last year, I think, with the Twins. So the Twins are now 48-46. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Guardians, who I believe got swept over the weekend. Right?
They're not good either.
No, they are not. They're just looking around like, why are we still in this? What is happening? We would love to just trade some things away here, but
their bullpen collapsed in Texas. Texas is good, so they are legit.
Texas can hit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Texas is one of the 2 or 3 best hitting teams in the league. Twins offense up from 24th to 21st in runs scored per game, so going the right way. Yep. Mm-hmm. Twins defense and pitching 2nd in runs allowed per game on the season. Baseball Reference now gives the Twins an 84% chance to make the playoffs, 3% chance to win the World Series. Fangraphs gives the Twins a 74% chance to make the playoffs, a 3.5% chance to win the World Series. So my first category is a question for you guys. How much does the sweep over Oakland move your optimism meter?
Go ahead, Declan.
You're just disgusted, dude. Are you mad that they swept the A's?
Oh,
Be
no.
honest.
I predicted it. Write that down. No, I'm not mad at all.
You did predict it.
I'm
You
very
did predict it.
pleased, and I believe that we agreed that is going to be a home run prediction. So, no, but Dex,
Yeah, in retrospect, that
start us off.
I'll say this. It moves it in the optimism role. You should be beating those teams. Like, at the end of the day, those Oakland A's teams are terrible. As Phil just said, they're on pace for one of the worst records of all time. They're flirting with it. You should go in and beat them. And yes, did you sweat it a little bit out in a few games this series? Yes. But at the end of the day, W's, man. You got W's. You got 3 W's against bad teams. You should beat up on all of them. They have the easiest schedule in baseball. In fact, you can probably make the case from the math side. If you take care of these bad teams, and I know Judd wants to beat good teams. Everyone wants to beat good teams. If you take care of these bad teams, and you maybe even just go 500 against those winning record teams, you are going to be winning this AL Central Division by a wide margin, basically. Near 2.5 games up. So, yes, it moves it just a little, ever so slightly more in the optimism meter.
So I was actually impressed by the fact that they came back on Sunday and won. The first 2 games, I don't know how much you guys watched. Friday was like 3 hours plus and torturous. Saturday, they scored 6 runs, blew the entire lead, looked like they might lose. But, I mean, Oakland is awful. This does nothing for me, but they are playing 19 consecutive games against teams that are 500 or below. And so what I now want to see is this. I believe it's a 4-game series at Seattle, right? That's coming up that starts tonight at Seattle. This is going to give you, I think, now this is the type of series I want you to preferably win, and here's why. Oakland is a dumpster fire. Like, they are just, to me, it's just awful baseball. Seattle is actually the team right behind the Twins in pitching. Both of the teams have 3.72 ERAs. Seattle is a disappointing team, but they can pitch. So you go in now and score runs, that's going to be at least legit. So this Seattle series to me gives me, yes, it's not a great team, but it's a team that's probably about as good as you are. And so if you win, 3 games here, if you win games in this series, it becomes more legitimate to me. I don't put any stock into beating the Royals or A's, not because they don't count as wins, they do, but because those teams are just so bad, it's hard to judge, like, are the Twins playing well? They're playing teams that are terrible. Seattle's going to give you at least a better gauge.
And I think this is where I think for sure you and I are just like maybe looking at these games differently. We know what this team is. So I'm no longer watching these games against Seattle trying to figure out, okay, if you win 3, then this. If you start doing this, like this team has a really good starting rotation. They have one of the best back-end closer situations in the game. I would like to go add maybe another reliable, like, 7th inning arm in there somewhere. I think Griffin Jacks is good, but there's room for another arm in there. But this team can pitch. This team, when they put the right fielders out there, has a chance to, like, if you have your best defensive lineup out there, this team can scoop it a little bit too with Correa and Michael Taylor, whatever. So we already know that may fluctuate a little bit, but they have the bones of a really good run prevention team. And they've underachieved with the bats. So we're just kind of like between now and October, I'm watching 2 things. Can they mathematically just stay in front and win the division? And you don't have to apologize for wins over the A's, the Royals. Just mathematically go win 86 games or whatever it takes to win the division. Go win 83 games. And can some of these bats that have been hibernating, Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton seems like there's something. We know there's something physically wrong all the time, but like something that should probably put him back on the injured list here at some point. Can we in the next 3 months see the bats go from like a 2 out of 10 where they are right now to like a 5 out of 10? Can you hit enough to do some damage if your pitching staff is good? So like I'm not gonna just dismiss the Oakland A's and the Royals and these wins because like you need those wins mathematically to win the division to get to the playoffs to win a playoff game.
Right, but the goal is to win a playoff game. In my opinion, if you can score some runs in the next 4 games against a team that can pitch, I become more confident. The A's and Royals give me no reference point. Yes, you should win all of those games. They, for the most part, have. Good for them. But I'm looking for, if the mission is going to be achieved, I think we're all confident that the starting pitcher in game 1 of the first playoff game has shown that guy, unless it's a really bad day like Lopez had on Saturday, can win that game. My question is, can the bats get going? And Seattle's going to give you the reference point to say, yeah, you know what? They're starting to hit a little bit, or they hit Kansas City, or they hit the Royals, they hit the A's, but when they actually get a good pitching staff, it goes right back to where it was. That's why I'm curious about the bats.
And that's great, but they don't need to win a game 7-3 in the postseason. They might only need to win a game 3-2. So if Carlos Correa can just like run into a ball, hit it into the gap with 2 runners on, like that might win you a playoff game if you can get there. The if you can get there part is the most important part because they have the pitching once you're there to win a game. The bar is so low here too. Go win a crappy division and win a game in the wild card round.
But I want 5 runs in that game. Can you score 5 runs?
Dude,
can you score 4 or 5 runs?
I don't think they've scored more than 5 runs in a playoff game in 18 years. It's insane.
But wouldn't it absolutely suck to see Joe Ryan or Lopez or Gray like give up 3 runs? Joe Ryan gave up 3 pretty quick runs on Sunday. And the problem that we have right now with this team is we're like, oh my God, that's 3 runs, right? So can you score 4 or 5 runs to win a game 4-3, for instance? 5-3. I'm not asking for 10 runs. I'm just saying, can you generate enough offense so that in a playoff game, in this hypothetical, theoretical world in which the Twins actually break one of the most embarrassing streak in all of North American sports, can you just score 4 runs? That's all I'm asking for.
By the way, the Twins' magic number is 67.
67?
Oh, just 2 off from
your team's wins. The second place team's losses. Both those are 48. The Twins have 48 wins. The Gardos have 48 losses. That gives you on OmniCalculator.com a magic number of 67.
I'm going to add this to our State of the Twins Mondays for sure.
I'll make a graphic.
We can do it we're going to do like probably 3 of these shows a week minimum. So, all right, so 67 here.
I think the second line of the theme song has to be changed, though. We're going to win, Twins. We're going to prevent runs. I think that should be the new thing. Prevent. We're going to win, Twins. Watch the baseball get popped up against us.
That's fine. I mean, this team is sort of not the full opposite of 2019, but in a lot of ways, 2019, go win 100 games, go break the home run record. The ball was juiced, but it was juiced for everyone. So offense was up for everyone, and they were still the greatest home run hitting team, on top of that pile. And then you get to the playoffs, it's like, ooh, okay. The number 3 starter is a big shrug emoji, like it's Randy Dobnak. And Dex, you and I have been in agreement on this. I would rather, if the playoffs started today, I would rather go in with this team than the 2019 team.
Yeah, I think if you collectively I would take the rotation as it is, obviously over the 2019 team, which was the greatest home run hitting team of all time. But I mean, playoff games are won like this. So I'd much rather take the chances that they can basically build their way into a 9-inning playoff win for the first time, yes, in almost 20 years.
So if they make the playoffs, so if in this world in which they very well could, because the division's terrible, if they make the playoffs and they win a game and then get swept out, are you guys just fine because the 18-game streak is over?
For now.
Yeah. My fiance was talking to me about this on Saturday. She said, by the way, if they make the playoffs, like, what's the plan? Because you have warned me you're a terrible person around the playoffs. Like, they're going to win that one playoff game, and then you're just going to be completely fine. Like, you're going to want more. You're going to want more. And I'm like, right now, just win the playoff game and go from there. I won't be as upset if they just win the play. I will be upset for sure if they lose in 4, right? I would be very upset. But if they win the damn playoff, yes, I want them to win a playoff game. It's 162 innings worth of baseball that you have lost. How is that possible? How? One playoff win. That's all I'm asking. The bar is so low.
It doesn't mean that okay, forever and ever, that we never have expectations for the Twins ever again. But it's such an elephant in the room to slay at this point. Or the dragon. Remember when Dave St. Peter came on our radio show and was like, it's time to slay the dragon. And at the time, the dragon was the Yankees. Well, now the dragon is literally anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. It's the team that you're playing is the dragon. Yeah. So just win a game. And then we can, if they win game 1, we can all come on the SKOR North Twins show the next day and say, okay, now what are the expectations now? Is it do we need them to win the series, or are we just kind of good? But right now, that is so here's another question off this, and we'll get to some other categories, okay? Mm-hmm. So And Judd, you did the math on this, that they have it's a 19-game stretch that they're in the middle of here against teams below 500 that kind of walks you up to the trade deadline and even goes like a few games past the trade deadline. So they should be able to make some hay here as they try to make a decision on what do you add, what do you subtract, right? So what does their situation need to be on August 1st, the trade deadline day, for you to trade future assets, whatever prospects of value you have left, and there aren't that many,
I was going to say
for
that, yeah.
something to help you this season? What does their situation need to be for you to subtract from the future and add to this year?
Situation needs to be that you need to be not just your record doesn't only need to be obviously, hopefully, above 500 at that point. But the other thing, too, is you're going to have to, in my opinion, and I believe there will be 3 games left against the Cardinals at that point. The 19-game stretch, if I'm not mistaken, ends against the Cardinals in early August. So when the deadline hits,
maybe
you're going to be – well, the Cardinals have now come out and said that they're not going to trade Goldschmidt. I saw that on Sunday. But my thing is you need to be not only above 500, but the bats of the guys that matter need to have actually shown more. And Correa in the leadoff spot has been improved. So, like, there's been progress there. It's not a dumpster fire now. You talked about Buxton, and that is, I don't know what's up there, but something is really wrong.
Probably again.
Yeah, but the reality is this. I think your bats are going to have to show you, just from an eye test, that they are making progress and that you look like you offensively at least are on the right track. And I tweeted this on Sunday, and I know his splits against Southpaws have been pretty atrocious in 2023, but can we hashtag free Kirilloff? Max Kepler keeps playing, and Kepler had a hit or 2 yesterday, but the reality to me is this. Alex Kirilloff, the more he plays, is legit. Like, I want him in my lineup. And he's held to the standard of, well, you're more of a platoon guy, but Cap, you're playing every day. If we could just, like, starting off, I'm not asking for a ton here, switch that around. I think the more Kirilloff plays, the more productive he's going to get. And it seems like the wrist is fine. But yeah, I need to see a hint of production here. And yes, you're going to have actually fared pretty well against these teams, because you are playing some teams, Seattle not included, Phil, that are really, really, at this point in time, pretty checked out as well.
I think we can use reference points. So let's go back, and I know this is kind of funny because we always like the Twins to be more aggressive, and yeah, let's go after Paul Goldschmidt. Let's go after the big dogs. But let's be honest, I don't think they're going to be trading Brooks Lee for Paul Goldschmidt. Brooks Lee's tearing it up in the minors. Mm-hmm. But in 2009, they made 2 kind of savvy little moves, little easy moves to make that boosted their club to help get them to 163 and then the ALDS. They traded for Orlando Cabrera, which was a really solid shortstop. They had a hole there. They traded Tyler Landendorf. Do you remember this name, Phil? Tyler Landendorf.
Man, not really, no.
So he was a second-round pick the year before. I thought he was just some no-name prospect, and I'm sure he was maybe a fringe top 10 guy. He was a second-round pick, so probably maybe in that top 10 range. But they trade a basically nobody who turned out to be nothing either for Orlando Cabrera, a playoff veteran, a guy who's been around a lot, hit that huge home run too in game 163 that helped them. They also, I believe, put in that waiver claim for Carl Pavano that year. Mm-hmm. That turned out to hit the 100th percentile. But those were 2 really savvy moves that didn't break your bank, right? You didn't fetch out a lot of prospects to get those 2 guys. You obviously just claimed, basically, I believe, Carl Pavano off waivers. Can you make 2 like little savvy moves here? Because yeah, you're not going to really have a lot of resource to be big time buyers. But is there a couple guys you can just kind of plug and play here on top of the internal dudes that do have to figure that out, that make your team better and give you a chance to win a playoff game or series?
Yeah, I think you have to add. Now, to what extent are you? Because if you want, let's say we keep throwing out Paul Goldschmidt or Shohei Ohtani might be available, right? Like if you want to trade for someone that's going to be your best hitter, you're probably going to have to trade a Brooks Lee or someone. So I don't expect them to operate on that level of risk, but I also don't really care much about 2026. This team is built to win right now. They've made the big investment in Carlos Correa. They made the big investment in Byron Buxton. They've already traded a bunch of future capital to the Reds and to other teams for pieces that were meant to help them win right now. And they've got one of the best run prevention staffs and defenses in the league. I mean, it's the bones are there to add to this thing right now. So the only thing that, like, what does their situation need to be on August 1st? I don't know. They need to be a few games ahead of the Guardians for first place. Like, to me, it's not about, like, are they on pace to win 90, or it's not even really about is Carlos Correa's bat the way that it's supposed to be. It's like, can you add something to help this pitching staff and to help do something in the first round of the playoffs? And then to what extent is it a Brooks Lee? Is it something really splashy? Then we can have that debate, but they should be adding in 2 weeks from now.
If I can trade a past second or third round pick, that's absolutely fine. So I guess it depends on what type of shopping you want to do. Do you want to go to Dior or the dollar store? I mean, if you're going to go to try and get a bat, but it's not going to cost you much, that's absolutely fine. But I do think that you need to like, if you are going to even give thought to a Brooks Lee type trade, which I don't think that they will, but if you were going to, you're going to need to see some things first. So it's not like you're not going to go, if everyone else is still plateauing, I don't think you're going to go get one bat and trade Brooks Lee and find that gets you playoff wins. Because I think that's how they're going to think. I don't think they're going to think, they don't think like this show does. We just need one playoff win because of the losses, because the streak. They want to get to the playoffs and actually judge if they can win or not in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
and their pitching does. I mean, you're not wrong about that. The starting pitching gives them a good chance.
But whether your goal is to win a playoff game or just generally like do damage in October, to me the priority should be add something to do. Like, you've been in a win now window for 3 years and you haven't made the playoffs. So you should be pushing. You should be going. You should not be scaling back. Is my thought. So Judd, you brought up sort of Alex Kirilloff, free Alex Kirilloff. That was a lefty he hit a home run off of yesterday, I believe, right?
A lefty started, and the starter. Yes. Vasquez hit a home run to make it 3-1, and then Kirilloff hit a opposite field home run against that southpaw to make it 3-2.
Yeah,
you're correct.
So keep doing stuff like that. But here's my question for you guys. So category 2, who do you prioritize? So Matt Wallner is up for the injured Jose Miranda. He did not start. He destroys right-handed pitching, by the way. Jorge Polanco's on a rehab assignment, so he'll be coming back at some point. But here's the conundrum. The Twins' 3 best on-base percentage guys, and it's not close. It's like these 3 guys get on base a lot, and then there's a huge gap, and then there's a bunch of dudes that don't really get on base much at all. Mm-hmm. Alex Kirilloff, largely against right-handed pitching. He's still kind of figuring out left-handed pitching. I'm with you. I think he's talented enough for you just like let him go get some at-bats and figure it out. Yeah, exactly. Like they did with Morneau back in the day, whatever. Donovan Solano, 35 years old. He's never really been an everyday guy, but he's kind of become an everyday guy, in large stretches for this Twins team. And then Eddie Julian. He's become maybe their best hitter. Like if you look at OPS and stuff, he absolutely needs to play against every right-handed pitcher. He's kind of rough in the field. But so you got Kirilloff, Solano, Julian, mostly against right-handed pitching. You can be a little bit strategic against left-handed pitching. But you got Wallner, you got Jorge Polanco. You have all these other guys like Joey Gallo trying to figure out, is he an everyday player now? Byron Buxton has been awful.
I want to get to this, yes.
So how do you... One thought I had was until Royce Lewis comes back, Julian played 23 games. It's been 2 years, but he played 23 games at third in the minor leagues. And he played some third at Auburn in college as well. I might just put him at, like, against right-handed pitching, give me an infield of Julian at third, Correa at short, Polanco at second, find a spot for Alex Kirilloff and Donovan Solano, and then if Buxton's an odd guy out, like right now, Buxton's not a guy that you have to have in your lineup. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And you know what? In my opinion, Kirilloff, and he is not the right fielder that Kepler is, but I would always prioritize Kirilloff in a corner outfield slot over both Gallo and Kepler. But to go back to what you just said, I wouldn't put Julian at third base. I would make him my DH. Here's the weird thing about the Twins, okay? For years, they couldn't wait when he was playing the outfield. They were racing to get Byron Buxton off his feet. We got to rest him. We got to get... And look, with his past, it actually makes some sense, right? But the man is now hitting, his slash line is this right now, okay? 199, on base 289, slugging 417. His OPS, which was 833 a year ago in 92 games, in 76 games, so he's playing way more in 2023, is 706, okay? That's his OPS, 706. So for a team that used to race to get Buxton off his feet, what is the need to have him hitting third almost every day as DH? Something's off here. Something's wrong. And it's rather distressing, in my opinion, when you're playing the Oakland A's and actually some guys, against that pitching staff, and they should be, are starting to hit. And you get to the third spot in your order, and it feels like you're at the ninth spot because it's like, well, here's an out. Edward Julian can DH. Guys can DH. Byron Buxton doesn't. With this current Byron Buxton, I don't know exactly what's wrong. I don't know if it's a chronic thing and he's hurting all the time. That could be it. I don't know if there's something else wrong that he's trying to play through. But no matter what, he doesn't need to play every day. Julian can play. Edward Julian's best place in 2023, you guys, is DH. He is a butcher in the field, and the game, thankfully, is reverting now. Getting on base important, right? Like the DH, this isn't 2019. You don't need a DH where you're like, well, Nelson Cruz has a chance to run into a fastball here. You can mix up. You can use DHs who aren't named Byron Buxton, and maybe that will help him. But this thing of him playing every day and batting third, which he has done 34 times this year, is not necessary. You're banging your head against the wall right now, unfortunately.
If it was just player A, right? If his name wasn't Byron Buxton and everything that goes with his upside and his salary and everything, you would ask, why is that guy your designated hitter on a daily basis? And furthermore, like you said, why is he batting third? Why is he batting anywhere near the top part of the lineup? And it would free up a lot of possibilities if you made that more flexible. Maybe he just needs to go back on the injured list for a few days or something. Just go do another 10-day stint. He's certainly not contributing to the lineup at this point. So, you're going to face 70% right-handed starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. So to me, like the best lineup against right-handed pitching, I'm starting with these guys. I'm starting with Correa, Polanco at some point, Kirilloff, Julian, Solano. I'm going to put Wallner in there too. And then we can flip a coin in center field. I mean, Max Kepler would probably be a better option against a right-handed pitcher than Michael A. Taylor. But Taylor's the better defensive player in center field, and Kepler apparently doesn't want to play center field. So, all right, then Kepler, you're a bench bat. And then my DH is flexible. Like maybe it's Gallo, depending on the matchup. Maybe it's somebody else. But I'm starting with those guys first.
Can I give you a potential what I would use for a Game 1 playoff lineup that I just constructed right here?
Oh.
I think this works. I'm trying to make sure I don't double up on a position because there's so many random dudes you could put at first base, DH. Like,
is this against a right-handed starter or a left-handed starter?
This would be against a right-handed starter. Okay. So let's go. Leading off, I'd put Julian. I'd DH Julian, and I'm leading him off.
Yep.
I think he's your best base. He's one of your best on base guys. He's really good. I'm gonna DH him. He's a butcher in the field, though. I don't trust him. So Julian leads off. I have Donnie Barrels at first, batting second. Another good high OBP guy. I'm going to put him up top. He can get on base. I have Royce Lewis batting third and at third base, and that's the conundrum we got to remember here, especially when he comes back from his oblique injury. So I have Royce Lewis at third, and when he's been healthy, I mean, he can hit. The dude can hit. He should be in the top 3 spots in your lineup. He should.
Champagne problem. That is not a. He's the centerpiece.
I have Alex Kirilloff hitting cleanup at 4 in left field. I have Correa at shortstop batting 5th. I have Ryan Jeffers batting 6 at catcher, excuse me. Batting 7th, I put Matt Wallner in right field. Now, this is against a righty. I know you can make a case. You should probably put Kepler right against the righty, but right now, I just want Wallner in the lineup. He can mash more. So I have Wallner at right field batting 7th. I have Jorge Polanco at 2nd, batting 8th, and then Michael A. Taylor rounding things off at center field. What do you think about this? I could run through it again if you want me to.
I got it right here.
Okay.
This is pretty close, man. Like this. So Buxton's not in here. Not in here.
No. I mean, I guess he could be an amazing pinch runner, late pinch hitter. Same with Joey. I mean, that's the kind of funny thing. Like, Joey Gallo, Byron Buxton aren't horrible options coming off the bench and running into a baseball either.
No.
So I think they're going to leave the one thing where they would start, I think, is because it's been a success thus far, is I think that they would leave Correa in the leadoff spot.
And he would help if it's a playoff game. You have a guy up there who kind of sets the tone a little bit. There's a human element to having him sort of.
You could probably swap even Solano and Correa. Like you can put Donnie Barrels almost anywhere in this lineup. He's going to be Donnie Barrels. That's who he is.
Polanco, for some of the same reasons, would be much higher than 8th in this lineup.
Right.
Julian would probably be in the bottom half.
He should be in the top. He should be
in
their world.
Statistically, right? Like he should be.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I like this a lot. I'm trying to figure out which way they would lean here, but I love the DH aspect of it. Like I do think that he's going to give you a far more modern day approach now to what a DH should be compared to their infatuation with potential 400-foot home runs.
Yeah, and you said something earlier that, the game has changed in the last few years. Getting on base is now valuable. And I would say getting on base has always been valuable. And I don't know where along the line they either decided it wasn't as an organization, or they just have failed to find guys that can get on base. Getting on base is the ecosystem of offense. Like it is, imagine in the NFL, if we're on Purple Daily every day and talking about a Vikings team that, boy, they don't really get many first downs. So how can they get touchdowns? Well,
right.
How are you got to move the ball in the NFL, right? You got to convert on third down. You got to get first downs. Move the chains. Getting on base is moving the chains. So Dex, I think this is pretty good. We can pick some nits here, but I guess the biggest elephant in the room is, when do you make that decision on Byron Buxton?
On Buxton.
Well, you've got to do something right now, right? Like you've got to either, as Phil said, IL him, or at least give him games off and play him, sit him tonight, play him Tuesday, sit him Wednesday. I don't understand. This team, to me, the home run is such a perfect poster child of the administration of this team, because they are literally all or nothing.
Yeah,
I don't understand the feeling for years. Well, if Buxton's playing the outfield, he can't play on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then he's DHing, and it's clearly not working. And they're like, but he's going to play every day and bat third. Why can't we have a happy medium choice of, you know what, let's find a way, if we can, to get him back to a semblance at least, because he's not even close. His at-bats, he is so messed up at the plate now. This reminds me of the days when 8 people were telling Buck what to do, right? Have a leg kick, don't have a leg kick, do this, do that. Watch his at-bats. The approach right now, it's mental too, man. He is messed up. And as far as I can tell, no one's doing a damn thing about it beyond saying, go back out there and you'll be fine. And then what drives me crazy about that is then a kid like Kirilloff, who is a natural hitter, isn't allowed to play consistently because we know best there. Well, actually, you don't. Play Kirilloff. Find out. I think Alex Kirilloff is the type of kid who, the more he plays and the more at-bats that he gets, is a smart enough hitter to figure it out himself.
Yep. A lot of guys, a lot of left-handed hitters come up and struggle the first couple of years against. I mean, Morneau looked super uncomfortable against left-handed pitching for a while, and then he figured out how to stay in there on some of those tough pitches, and that even that home run Kirilloff hit yesterday, his body was kind of like moving. His timing was kind of off, but he's so talented that if he can just find a way to keep the barrel in the zone, boom, like the ball goes out of the ballpark.
And that's good power too.
Yeah, he's probably never going to be like a 40 home run guy, but
right.
He could easily be a 25, 30 home run guy if you give him enough time to develop here. By the way, tickets are available. Twins are on the road right now for the rest of the week, but as this team continues to make a push to win the first playoff game in almost 20 years, twins.com/tickets to go see one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. At some point, Royce Lewis is going to be back. Twins.com/tickets. Also, boys, our friends at EcoFun, they have some great deals on electric bikes right now. All electric bikes are at least 10% off their retail prices and 50% off their dealer freight charges. So you can save over $700 on higher-end Yamaha electric bikes and up to $500 on Scootstar and Bentelli electric bikes. You can see here on the YouTube channel all the goodies and fun stuff you can get into at EcoFun. So check them out, ecofunmotorsports.com. Also, breaking news, getting an email here from EcoFun. Buy a Bentelli or Scootstar electric bike at regular price and get a second one of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Holy cow. I'm not a math major. Neither is Declan.
No.
But that sounds like a pretty good deal if you're into electric bikes. So check them out at ecofunmotorsports.com off 35 in Forest Lake and 35W south of the Twin Cities in Burnsville. ecofunmotorsports.com, and tell them that the SKOR North Twin Show sent you over there. Hey, real quick, before we get to Immaculate Grid, one more category here. And it's just Trevor Plouffe is the category. I feel like he's the best Bally's or Fox Sports North broadcast edition that we've seen in years. He just like brightens up the mood. He brings a fun element. The whole, he told the story of, before the game, he was standing next to Alex Kirilloff, and it was 11:11 on the clock. And he said, 11:11, make a wish. I'm going to use my wish on you, Alex. I wish that you hit a home run today. And Kirilloff is like, all right, if that happens, I'll definitely point to you in the booth. And boom, like fast forward a couple hours later, Kirilloff hits the bomb. Plouffe starts cheering. Yes. Oh, is he going to wave? And then Kirilloff waves to him going around third base. Like, it was just a super fun moment that Plouffe, it was lucky, but like he creates these fun moments in the booth because, he's part of one of the more high profile digital baseball companies in the country. And like, I just think it's awesome that he's part of the broadcast. So Trevor Plouffe.
He's also he is that type of approach he takes represents the future of broadcasting.
Yep.
That's the future. Because you know what? There is a huge difference, in my opinion, between, doing a sports talk show on radio or doing a game like, we got to be prepared and wear our suits and ties, and the podcast world. And
Yes.
Plouffe does a marvelous job of bringing what the podcast world is truly like.
Hello,
to the
everybody,
booth.
and welcome to Target Field. I'm Phil Mackey, and that's Judd Zolgad. And we're both wearing stuffy suits and ties here to talk incredulously about baseball. Yes.
All the wins count, Phil. That's all I have to say. Any team on any day can beat any team. It's just a grind through 160. But I love the fact that Plouffe treats the Twins broadcast like he does his talking baseball stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. And that's the fun of it.
Yeah, it's a blast, man. Like, and even the 3-man booth when he's up there with Morneau. Sometimes Morneau it's just Morneau and Bramer. It can be a little dry and kind of mellow and low energy. Like, Plouffe raises the energy and brings the fun.
Yes, and the other thing that Plouffe does that I like too is he is obviously, and this is where I've always said there's a fine line. He is obviously rooting for the Twins. Like he knows he's talking to Twins fans. He is being a homer, but it's a fun, sincere way. Yeah. So it's not like he has talking points passed down from the team, right? That's what drives me crazy.
He's not gaslighting.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So there's a big difference. In fact, I've always said Provis is clearly rooting for the Twins, but he's not trying to blow smoke up your behind. He's telling the truth about things. So when things go wrong, he points that out too. And I feel like Plouffe does both of those things. I'm not asking for the announcers not to be fans. I am asking for them not to assume I'm so stupid that the team talking points are going to be like, well, I guess everything's right then.
Yep. No, I think you nailed. There's like a distinction there. And Plouffe just sort of naturally has it. And he was awesome yesterday. So hopefully they find a way. When they're on the West Coast, it's pretty easy because he lives in Los Angeles. So,
right.
Is he going to be in Seattle? I'm guessing he'll probably travel up, or is he just doing the Oakland thing?
Not sure.
I'm not sure, but I would guess you're right.
We'll find out. So, all right, boys, there's your State of the Twins categories here. First place, 2.5 game cushion, couple weeks until the trade deadline. You guys can let us know in the YouTube comment section too. What do you think they should do? If you want to respond to some of the questions that we pose, what would your ideal lineup be against lefties and righties? Would you get Buxton out of the lineup? Hit us up in the YouTube comment section or in the feedback tab of the SKOR North app, and we will mix in some of those questions and takes on future SKOR North Twin shows later this week. All right, Dex, it's time for the Immaculate Grid Challenge here, where Declan pops up on the YouTube channel. We'll explain this for the audio audience. a tic-tac-toe grid of baseball trivia. And we'll put 5 minutes on the clock here. We're all going to be on the same team. And we have to get the Immaculate Grid correct, you have to get all 9 correct in 9 guesses.
Yep.
And ideally, we would do it if we're showing off with the more obscure players that we can find, the better, because there's a rarity score involved here too. But all right, Dex, what do we got today?
All right, so we have left to right. We have a Astro with a Texas Ranger, an Astro with a Washington National, or a Montreal Expo, because Expos do count for national players. Remember that.
Yes.
Okay. We also need an Astro with a 200 strikeout season as a pitcher. In the middle grid, we need a Dodger with the Ranger, a Dodger with the National, and a Dodger with 200 strikeouts in a season. And then the bottom grid is a Gold Glover for the Rangers, a Gold Glover for the Nationals, and a Gold Glover who also struck out 200 batters.
Okay. The Gold Glover for the Rangers, and I think Phil. What?
Let's put 5 minutes on the clock here.
All right. Okay. I was just going to ask a question. All right. I'm just trying
Should I wait to start the clock, or do you want me to start? There's 5 valuable minutes here. Are you asking a clarification question that should?
No,
be
I think
asked
I've got.
before we start the clock?
I think I've got one. You can start the clock.
Okay, right.
Start that clock.
All right, the clock is started. 5 minutes.
Okay. The Gold Glover, a Ranger. Wasn't Rafael Palmeiro a perennial Gold Glover?
Ooh, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I thought he was like a butcher. What about Michael Young?
Michael Young win a Gold Glover?
Kinsler. I think.
I don't know.
All right. Well,
I think you're right about Palmeiro, but I don't. Palmeiro was, I think, a good fielding first baseman, but I don't for sure.
A-Rod. I mean,
did A-Rod
win a
win?
Gold
See,
Glove?
the question is who? Yeah.
With the team. If we're not sure, we can come back to that.
All right.
How about with the 200 pitch season of Greg Maddux?
Did Greg Maddux ever strike out 200 in a season? Because he was not a huge strikeout guy.
But he threw so many innings.
He did. Yeah, you're probably right.
Maddux?
Let's do Greg Maddux. Are we going to be wrong on the first one? There we go.
No,
Okay.
60%. It was high, but...
All right. Let's knock out these 200K seasons here. So, I mean, we can go any number of... With the Dodgers, you want to go like Valenzuela? You want to go way back?
Yeah, we go
Fernando?
Drysdale.
Nomo. Strike out 200.
Nomo for sure did, yeah. Let's do Nomo. That's kind of fun.
2%. Let's go.
There we go.
Nice.
There we go. Let's get it.
Nice. So
And
Astros,
then, Roy Oswalt, Roger Clemens.
J.R. Richard.
Ooh.
Wow. I mean, if
Who's
you're
that?
confident about
You're
J.R.
confident in
Richard,
that?
let's...
Oh God, he had absolute gas. All-star before a stroke in
71 to 80 or... Yeah, 71 to 80. That J.R. Richard?
Yep. Yeah, he unfortunately had a stroke in 80.
7%. Good stuff.
7%? Wow. Okay.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Texas. Should we go Texas, Houston?
Sure.
God. Nolan Ryan's going to be the most popular one, I think.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. So we got that in our back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep that in our back pocket because we have that one. Let's just leave it for a second.
All right.
A Dodger and a Ranger.
Seager.
Bob
Currently-
Seager Bob Seager.
Bob Seager.
Kyle's against the wind.
They're Dodgers running against the wind.
Yeah, Kyle Seager. Let's do Kyle Seager. Or no, is it the
Corey,
other Seager?
right?
Corey Seager.
It's
Sorry,
Corey Seager. Whew.
Okay.
43.
All right, we got 2.5 minutes left.
All right.
We should probably do Nolan Ryan just to
Plug that space.
plug it in, yeah, because it'll be 60%, right?
58.
Wow. Good call, Phil.
Nice. Okay. For Astro, who was a Nat
Or an Expo.
or an Expo,
I don't know
wait.
those players.
I'm trying to think like Scherzer, Verlander. Did those guys? Scherzer was Washington, but never
Verlander was
Houston, and then
Verlander was
Houston, but
never Washington. Yeah, so hold on a second. So Washington or Montreal.
I'm trying to think of real quick an Expo.
Did Rusty
Gold Glove.
Staub? Did Rusty Staub play for the? He played for the Astros, right?
I'll trust you.
He played for
And he played for the Expos.
Rusty
Rusty Staub, STA.
63 to 85.
Yep, Legrand
Okay.
Orange.
6%.
There you go.
Legrand Orange was great.
I need 3 more left here.
3 more. We
Great
got a minute and a half left here. So the Gold
Trey-
Glovers. Did
Soto or
Vlad
Trey
Guerrero?
Turner? Oh, Vlad Guerrero.
Did he win a Gold Glove in the outfield? I mean, he had a laser arm, like
Yeah.
everything, right? I think he did for the Expos.
All right.
I'm not like super confident.
I don't love this. I would say Trey Turner or Soto, right? Didn't one of those 2 dudes win Gold Glove?
See, this is my problem. I don't really pay attention to Gold Gloves. 'cause
I don't
think
either.
They're such a
It's all
joke.
BS.
Oh, you know what it was? Rafael Palmeiro. Declan's sort of right, and so are we, Phil. I want to say he won a Gold Glove because he hit so well, and
45
people
seconds.
were always ticked off.
We got to go. Here,
Let's go, Vlad. Go, Vlad. Go, Vlad. Oh,
No.
no.
He did not.
Sorry. God dang it.
Okay, try Palmeiro, Texas Gold Glove.
Wow, we're both gonna. No, you got this
Yeah,
one. There you go.
4%.
Nice job,
Okay,
Jared.
he did win a Gold Glove. Okay, Washington and Washington and the Dodgers or the Expos. Pedro Martinez
Yeah, you're right.
got
Man, I
traded
feel
by
like
the
I've-
Dodgers.
I've blown 3 of these.
Yeah,
now.
this is not work. This relationship's over.
I need to just not participate.
Welcome to the Declan and Judd show, where we
It's
do
a
the
low score,
Immaculate
though. Only
Grid.
6.9 nice are averaging for this one.
So that's
So
good.
there's only 11 Gold Glove candidates for.
2 franchises.
That's the lowest one.
I'm not a Gold
Can you
Glove
click on
guy.
the show that list there, Dex?
Yeah, so
for the
it won't
Washington.
show it to you guys, but on my screen, Ryan Zimmerman, Adam LaRoche, Gary Carter, Larry Walker,
Andre Dawson.
Andre Dawson.
I want to
can see
know
your screen.
what about Trey Turner and Juan Soto?
Trey Turner and Juan Soto did not, so I would have been wrong.
So we would have been wrong on all those.
Tim Wallach. Oh, Marquise Grissom. Larry Walker.
Most popular answers. Oh, Ryan Zimmerman. I mean, we probably should be on that one.
I don't know that I would have pegged him as a Gold Glover because I'm with Judd. I don't follow Gold Glove awards. It's all just kind of.
I just don't care about Gold Gloves. They're stupid.
So what was the hardest one? Was it the one that we whiffed on?
Astros and Nationals. Only 36% of people are getting that correct. That's
Yeah, because you got to go Expos
really
history,
low.
man. That's what you
Yeah.
got to do.
Yeah. Expos history is the greatest.
Well, technically it's a loss because we didn't get 9 out of 9. It's not an immaculate grid, but we did outpace the average 6.9 out of 9. So
No excuses. Got to be better. We got to
do.
be better.
we'll be better next time. Be better next time. Shout out to our friends. Speaking of getting better, if you're looking to get better because you have aches in your ankles, feet, back, neck, elbows, whatever it is, Summit Orthopedics is here to help you. No referrals are needed. They offer same-day appointments. If you're really hurting, they actually offer walk-in orthopedic urgent care 7 days a week from 8 a to 8 p. 25 locations across the Twin Cities and greater Minnesota. They have over 150 expert physicians and physical therapists specifically trained in their fields. Learn more at summitortho.com. That's summitortho.com. All right, boys, there's your SKOR on our Twin show. Dang it, we just want one playoff win. One playoff win. If you could give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts and click the like button on the SKOR North YouTube channel and the subscribe button, you can help us spread the word about the SKOR North Twin Show, which is back after a 2-year hiatus. We are here as your Twins therapists, and we'll see you next time.